windy. I hope you can hear me. I don't know how to do this again, but just like all my other YouTube videos, I did them because I have too many emotions to, you know, burning inside of my soul. So today I am going to be talking about, this is no booktube entry by any chance. As much as I would like to become a booktuber, I really cannot. I have too many. I cannot form coherent thoughts. It's not in my range. I don't But today, again, as I said, I am here because I just have too many feelings and I just have to express them. They don't have to be coherent, you know. I just need to let this out. I got lost in the reading game when I entered college. College basically ruined books for me. I lost the spirit. It disappeared. It evaporated. To everyone who wishes to go back to find their reading spirit once again, as they say, I suggest you go back to your YAs. If you didn't read YA, don't listen to me. I'm just trash. You know, if you're one of the cool kids who don't read YA and, you know, just read classics and whatever cool kids read, just ignore this video and exit, because I am literal trash. But yeah, I suggest you go back to your YAs. I went back to my Harry Potter. It was my foundation. It just sparked the bookworm in me and I went back to it. It was such a big part of my childhood, so here I am again. It got me back into reading, definitely. I learned about Six of Crows duology through my friend Justine. Shout out to Justine. I love you. Thank you for introducing this world to me. And of course through Carrie Can Reads. I saw her Grishaverse book review. Yeah, that's why I'm here. I don't even know where to begin. I'm just gonna start with the no spoilers part of this review. And after that, if you haven't read it, you can just go exit. So Six of Crows basically is about a heist. One big heist. Criminal prodigy Kaz Brecker. He leads a group of 6 outcasts to rob the Ice Court, which is one of the most well-protected and secure places in this universe. It's just a journey. It's just Ocean's 11 with magic. You know, Leigh Bardugo basically said that she was inspired of writing Six of Crows because of Ocean's 11, but make it magic. I don't even know how to come up with a review that doesn't have spoilers in it, but it's just, if you love fantasy, magic, action, heists, mutual pining, enemies to lovers, really ridiculously good world building, this is for you. This is just action-packed. There's no rest. It's just so good. I honestly feel ambushed with how good this is. For someone who is in love with the action genre, with the fantasy genre, it's just like a mesh of those two. Yeah, there goes my no spoilers review. I'm going to spoil now, so if you haven't read it and you plan on reading it, just get out of here. Get out of here and do yourself a favor and pick it up. Okay, let's go to the fun part. I'm talking about characters for Six of Crows. I guess this is just how I want to go about the book. First order of business, I think, with talking about this book is Kaz Brecker. Kaz Brecker. Oh, Kaz. I really grew up loving dark, mysterious bad boys. And you know, I'm done being ashamed of that phase of my life. Maybe it wasn't even a phase. Maybe I still love reading about dark and mysterious bad boys. But Kaz Brecker is not just dark, mysterious, and a bad boy. He is an evil boy. And when I say evil, he is evil. The first line in the book about him is in Edge's chapter, and you know, the famous Kaz Brecker didn't need a reason. He doesn't need a reason to just step on me. Kaz just knows what he wants and he gets it in the most despicable way but also in the most genius way. And his character is just so complex. It's interesting how he lets things unfold, not all at once, but like brick by brick. Basically, he's the mastermind. He just schemes. He has scheming face, you know? Scheming face. The way he just lets things unfold and lets the dominoes stack is just genius. It's so fascinating to watch because from point A, from chapter 2, you never know what you're going to encounter, but you know in your heart, from how you understand Kaz from the very beginning, that he just has something up his sleeve all the time. I love reading about him so much because it's just so fascinating to have a brain like that. No matter how despicable he can be, the most heroic in the most villainous way possible. So I just love him. I'm just in love with him. Kaz's past. Because, you know, at the beginning you're just like, what happened to him? You know, what's his deal? Why is he so like distant and dark and dangerous? Who wouldn't be distant and dark and dangerous if you ended up piled on Reaper's barge on top of, you know, dead bodies, and you had to use your dead brother as like a floating device to swim back to shore to survive? What part of that will not mess up your brain? No wonder why he wants to kill everyone. Now let's talk about Inej. First of all, she's hot. She's so beautiful. The part when she always refers to her saints, no matter how many people she's ever killed. I don't know, it gives me a semblance of like humanity within, you know, all the magic. People like Inej who experienced the heaviest, one of the heaviest forms of trauma. The way she was treated at the menagerie, the way she was treated by Tante Helene, from the age of 14. How can you stand, honestly? She's just one of the strongest people I've ever read about. And the way she sees Kaz and the way she sees the other members of the crew is just beautiful. One of my favorite things about Inej as well is she cares about Kaz so much, but he isn't her world. Like, he is not the center of her world, unlike, you know, other romance books. Well, of course, you know, this isn't a romance. When she told Kaz that she would be leaving the dregs and she would be leaving Ketterdam and she wants to buy her own ship and, you know, hunt down slavers, that was so... There's my girl. There's my career woman. She found her purpose. And as much as she cared about Kaz, she just had to let go of that, you know. And that's what I admire about her the most. Kaz just cares about her so much, guys. You guys, Kaz just cares about her so damn much. It just messes with my brain sometimes. Can you believe he pulled out Uman's eye just because he stabbed Inej? I mean, it's not just because. It's a big thing. But he literally pulled out his eye. Can you not see how messed up that is? But why am I so in love with him? When he pulled out Uman's eye and Uman was saying, I told you what I wanted, I did what you asked. Then Kaz leaned in so that no one else could hear it, and then he said, my wraith would counsel mercy, but thanks to you, she's not here to plead your case. And then we have Jasper. Jasper is just the biggest troublemaker. He gets high on trouble. Jasper is just so good, but makes all the wrong choices to compensate for that feeling he has in his bones, which Wyland kind of guessed that because of him not using his powers. This is when I say I see you kind of relate to each character to a certain extent, because each and every one of them, you know, has gone through these specific really bad things in their lives. But in the end, you know, they just do what they have to do. As Matthias said, they are all horrible. But in the end, aren't we all? At the end of this book, you really kind of realize that you're not very different from these criminals. You also make these wrong choices every single day, and which is what makes this book so good. Because you feel like you're part of the heist. You feel like you're making all of these wrong choices because you would think the same. And then we have violent. We didn't have violent chapters here. We do have violent chapters in Crooked Kingdom, so watch out for that if you haven't read Crooked Kingdom. I would have wanted to see more of Wylan, to be perfectly honest. I would have wanted to see things in his point of view, but him and Jasper just being so gay for each other is just enough. You know, it's enough. I knew there was a second book, so I was like, maybe I will look forward to more Jasper and Wylan in the next book. He's just so good. He's just like the angel of the whole crew, and you just want to protect him. Then we have Matthias. Matthias, who is just so difficult. Part of me couldn't help but love him from the very start. Only I think because you didn't know the whole story at first, but you knew that he was locked up for something that he didn't do, and then you started hating him in the middle because he was saying all of these awful things to Nina. Nina, has it ever occurred to you that maybe you weren't meant to exist? I almost canceled him. The bigotry, the sexism, the racism that runs in being a Fjordan, and especially in being Driscoll, completely unacceptable and is present in our time and day. Looking at how the Fjordans behave is just appalling, but at the same time, very, very familiar. His arc at the end when he saved Nina from Jarl Brum, it surprised me, but also a huge part of myself was hoping that it was a ruse. Of course, it was fake. Quoting Matthias in that chapter where he rescued Nina, the life you live, the hate you feel, it's poison. I can drink it no longer. One of my favorite lines in this book. You see how someone can change. Everyone is capable of changing their minds about something, of being educated. This is one of my favorite parts of this book, and one of my favorite messages that came out of Six of Crows. And then let's talk about Nina. Nina is the character that I relate to the most. I would like to refer to how Zoya, her teacher, and if you've read Shadow and Bone, Zoya is in Shadow and Bone. She was scolding Nina one time. She said, "You need to learn to be less big. You're too loud, too effusive, too memorable. You take too many risks." As someone who has been told that she is too loud and, you know, too big. I've read many books who describe their heroines as, you know, the wallflower, the little petite girl next door. Those are great people. But you never really see a lot of main characters who are described to take up too much space. And I really connect with Nina a lot. She is my queen. She is so confident in her own body. She just doesn't take up crap from anybody, not even Matthias, who she loves very much. She is the most powerful in the group. She can literally kill everyone in a heartbeat. I just love how in this universe she is the most beautiful woman in the book. Everyone is just in love with her. Her being big is her being beautiful, and that just messed with my brain so much. I just love Nina. She's everything I want to be and more. So there we have it. We have Six of Crows. Now let's go to Crooked Kingdom. I have quite a lot of stuff piled up here, and I won't be talking about all of them, but just my favorite parts, because, you know, why not? I didn't know how Lay could have possibly topped 6 of Crows. I didn't know how she was going to top off that heist. I thought this was just gonna be, you know, okay. A good conclusion to, you know, the story of the crew. Boy, was I wrong. Of course, now we know that Inej is kidnapped. That part when Van Eck was about to smash her leg and destroy her, she said with her whole chest, "He'll never trade if you break me. I'll be no use to him anymore." She has every right to think that way, the way Kaz talks about her as an investment. It just hurts because you know that Kaz cares about her, but she doesn't know that. Next scene, another Kanej scene. It's that scene. "I would come for you, and if I couldn't walk, I'd crawl to you. And no matter how broken we were, we'd fight our way out together, knives drawn, pistols blazing, because that's what we do. We never stop fighting." If that isn't love, I don't know what is. Next part is when Wylan found out that his mom is alive. That, again, messed up my brain. It made me hate Van Eck 1,000,000 more times than I already hated him. Next scene. It's the Helnik scene. And in this part, I was kind of like, something is going to happen to these two, because there are so many sweet parts where Nina and Matthias are together that it kind of made me really suspicious, because Lay doesn't write like that. She doesn't write good parts without following up with bad ones. So I have trust issues with you, Lee, is what I'm trying to say. I am grateful every day for that disaster. I needed a cataclysm to shake me from the life I knew. You were an earthquake, a landslide. I, said Nina, planting a hand on her hip, am a delicate flower. You aren't a flower, said Matthias. You're every blossom in the wood blooming at once. You are a tidal wave. You're a stampede. You are overwhelming. And then, when he said, there is no one I want more. There is nothing I want more than to be overwhelmed by you. This is what I say when Nina as a very overwhelming character is something to be revered, not something bad. You know, it's not her weakness that she is overwhelming, that she is too loud, that she is too big. That's what he loves about her. And when he really said, there is nothing I want more than to be overwhelmed by you, for someone to love her as much as she is. I won't read all the lines to these pages because it's like page 330 to 334, but it's just this whole banter of when Kaz and Jasper fought, and when Kaz accidentally called Jasper Jordy. I was done, dude. I was like, it messed up my entire being. And the whole banter of the whole crew after that, when no one even tried to stop them from killing each other. Wylan said, someone stop them, and Nina said, Jasper hasn't shot him, and Inej said, Kaz isn't using his cane. If this isn't bromance, I don't know what is. Page 427. Wylan summoned every bit of bravado he'd learned from Nina, the will he'd learned from Matthias, the focus he studied in Kaz, the courage he earned from Inej, and the wild, reckless hope he learned from Jasper, the belief that no matter the odds, somehow they would win. This was the part where I knew that these people would do anything for each other, especially Wylan, because they're literally the family. Page 460. During Inej's fight with This son of a fish. Inej almost felt sorry for her. Dunyasha really believed she was the land's soft heir, and maybe she was. But wasn't that what every girl dreamed? That she'd wake and find herself a princess or blessed with magical powers and a grand destiny. Maybe there were people who lived those lives. Maybe this girl was one of them. But what about the rest of us? What about the nobodies and the nothings and invisible girls? We learn to hold our heads as if we wear crowns. We learn to wring magic from the ordinary. That was how you survived when you weren't chosen. When there was no royal blood in your veins. When the world owed you nothing, you demanded something of it anyway. Inej raised a brow and slowly wiped the blood of kings on her trousers. I don't write on my books, but for Crooked Kingdom I had to, and right beside that line when she wiped her blood on her trousers, the blood of kings, I really wrote Queen. Now let's address that part. A lot of Tumblr posts, yes, I'm still on Tumblr, kind of spoiled to me that there would be a death. And at the start of the books, I genuinely thought it would be Nina, just because the Grisha gave her a pill, just in case she was caught by the shoe, or anyone who would force Param on her. I wasn't anticipating was Matthias dying in the hands of some 14-year-old that we don't even know. Can I just say, this death really messed me up to the point where I was in the office the other day, yesterday, and I thought about Matthias dying and I cried in the bathroom. I had to run to the bathroom to cry. That's how this affected me so much. He was on the ice once more, and somewhere he could hear the wolves howling, but this time he knew they were welcoming him home. The Hellenic shipper part of me, of course, naturally thinks that Matthias didn't have to die, and the time that he and Nina had was unfairly short and they deserve better, but so does everyone. I watched this review, beautiful review with Cindy of Crooked Kingdom, and she said that things come in a cycle. All the hate and false information that Matthias grew up with the Fjordans and under the Droskel system is just messed up, and it caught up with him. And no matter how painful it was, I guess it had to happen. The last part, Kanej, she understood suffering, and she knew it was a place she could not follow, not unless she wanted to drown too. She would fight for him, but she could not heal him. She would not waste her life trying. Everyone in this book just experienced some form, the worst forms of trauma. If you just dissected each character, I don't know why I'm crying. If you thought about each person's relationship with one another, no one really tried to heal anybody. With Cindy's review of Crooked Kingdom, she said that there are people who will be with you when you face your trauma, when you face all of these unfortunate things that happen to you, but you will be the one to help yourself. People will hold your hand, will support you, will be there for you, but the journey is yours. And nobody in those books tried to change their friends. They loved each other for who they were, despicable or not, evil or not. And aren't we all just a bit despicable in our own ways? There we have it. There it is. These are just two of my favorite books of all time so far, and I'm just so happy I came across them. I will be reading Shadow and Bone. Thank you for watching this. I don't know, I just needed to. If you watched this, you're awesome. I've snot all over, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for swimming by. I never upload, but thank you nonetheless for being here. I hope you pick up these books. They're amazing. You need them, they need you, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I did. Goodbye. See you whenever.